Those demons, they'll mess you up, son. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, and welcome to another video talking about a Guild of Ravnica spoiler card. Now, how are we going to do it this time around? Well, we're talking about demons, and instead of showing you the spoiler right away, we're going to do that at the end. What I want to do today is talk about what I think demons are and should be in Magic the Gathering. We'll talk about some cool and weird old ones from way back in the day when I started, and even touch on for a moment how today I just realized that Force of Nature even, this should have been a demon. So, let's dive right in. Demons in Magic the Gathering. For those of you who don't know, since I did just mention the Force of Nature here, old school creature cards in Magic the Gathering, when it came to like gigantic creatures, most of them had drawbacks, right? Now, for a demon to have drawbacks, it makes perfect sense, right? I mean, it's a demon. The concept behind a demon is it's like power, but at a price, right? It's not like you're getting this at a discount because you're dealing with a demon, but demons always have some kind of ulterior motive. They have some kind of goal, right? Some of them collect souls and things of that nature. But either way, demons offer two things: power and danger, essentially, right? That's what you get. So the very first demon from the beginning of the game was Lord of the Pit. Now, this gigantic, massive, fat daddy was a huge problem to deal with. I mean, you look at this thing, it's a 7/7 flying trampler, right? Like, it's just, oh my, what do you even do about that? I mean, Force of Nature is 8/8 trampler, but it's walking around on the ground. The Lord of the Pit is just flying through the air, and he's pure beef. But the Lord of the Pit came with a significant downside. You had to feed him a creature every turn, and if you didn't, he would turn on you and pound you in the face for 7 damage, which is clearly an insane amount of damage. 3 hits from a Lord of the Pit, and you're out of the game. So it's power, but at a significant price. You have to keep feeding that demon, and if you fail to pay, you will pay in another way. So Force of Nature, you have to pay 4 green to it every turn, or else it deals 8 damage to you if you don't pay the upkeep. But if you put a black border on this card and change it all to black symbols, even the artwork, this would feel like a land-style wandering through the swamp demon. This is definitely actually kind of a flavor fail now that I look back at it, but I love the Force of Nature too much, so I'm just gonna let that slide. So what I want to do is I want to talk about a bunch of the old demons alongside the Lord of the Pit and everything like that, paint you a picture of how these demons used to exist, with a side note of an interesting one from the conspiracy set as well, just because of the difference in the way that it's done. So we started out, first of all, you've got your Lord of the Pit, and you've also got demonic hordes. Now this, again, is another you're playing with fire style card. 3 black, 3 colorless gets you a 5/5 demon. You have to pay it 3 black every upkeep. A lot of the early demons wanted black mana as their upkeep. So you have to pay it 3 mana every turn to keep it around. Its ability is not to keep it around, to keep it happy, I should say. Its ability is tap to destroy a land. Now, if you don't pay its upkeep, not only does it become tapped, but it also eats one of your lands of your opponent's choice. So basically, if your opponent can screw with your mana base a bit and get rid of one of your 3, if you only have 3 black mana sources and you lose one, the hordes will start to eat your other black mana sources, and you're just doomed. I like the idea of these creatures, the demons, that if you do things wrong with them, you are going to lose. That feels like that playing with power. Black is willing to sacrifice anything for power. So the demons concept works really, really well in black. So you start out with Lord of the Pit and demonic hordes, right? And then moving into legends, we saw the mold demon. And this thing is just weird. Look at the artwork on it. It's mold, but I mean, they found a way to actually make it look pretty terrifying. It's got jagged claws, and you see the one claw, it's like up like this. It's literally rending something apart. It's a massive looking demon. It's crazy though. When it comes out, you have to sacrifice 2 swamps. That was a really weird alternate cost for the time, right? It's just kind of like, what's going on with that kind of a demon? And then you also had the Wretched. And the Wretched was an interesting one because the Wretched had no downside. But it was just a 5 mana for a 2/5, so it wasn't really beefy. It's kind of emaciated and like messed up looking a little, but it would take control of your opponent's creatures. And it's got this weird Persian proverb on it. Once I had the strength but no wisdom, now I have the wisdom but no strength. It's such an interesting, thought-provoking statement. So I found that these demons to be kind of weird in that like they have different kind of effects. The mold demon was just sacrificing lands, but the wretched really, I took pause for a second because I'm like, well, where's the downside? But at the same time, the Wretched didn't really count as a demon back then. He counted as the Wretched. He certainly looks like a demon and is a demon now. Speaking of counting as a demon now, hilariously enough, guys, this is so funny to me. Lady Orca. For those of you who are you're gonna stare at this in complete bafflement if you have not seen old school Legend cards and don't know what old school Magic was like. 1 red, 1 black, and 5 colors for a 7/4. Yes, with no abilities. Yes, a 7/4 with no abilities. The flavor text says, I do not remember what he said to her. I remember her fiery eyes, fixed upon him for an instant. I remember a flash, and the hot breath of sudden flames made me turn away. When I looked again, Angus was gone. A wayfarer on meeting Lady Orca. I'll be honest, I always thought the flavor text made it sound like she was part dragon. But apparently, she's demon. They've just given her the creature type demon. But this is one of those old, hilarious Legends creatures that when you look at it, you go, why did they make these garbage vanilla creatures? These ones were all based on the people who were designing the set's Dungeons and Dragons characters. So Lady Orca was one of the designer of Legends' actual Dungeons and Dragons characters that they wanted to insert into the set. I think that that's really cool. Clearly, it's a terrible card. I think it's hilarious that they made it a demon. You move into the Ice Age demons, and we get back to what is more, I feel, is a demon kind of feel. You've got Infernal Denizen, which is 8 mana for a 5/7 with some really, really weird artwork. It's just, his chin's always weirded me out. Anyways, so he's a 5/7 demon. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice 2 swamps. If you can't, you have to tap them. An opponent may gain control of a creature you control of their choice for as long as the Infernal Denizen is out. And the Infernal Denizen's ability is tap, gain control of target creature for as long as Infernal Denizen remains on the battlefield. I like these demons where they have an effect they grant you, but if you don't grant the demon their desires, then they will grant that ability to your opponent instead. Conceptually, that feels very demonic. I enjoy the idea behind that. And Ice Age brought us as well the Minion of Leshrac and the Minion of Tavish Saw. So the Minion of Leshrac is 7 mana for a 5/5 pro black. The protection from black part was always weird to me. And this looks like a bat demon. It looks more like a bat than a demon to me. And it almost looks like half of his body is missing. But anyhow, during your upkeep, sacrifice a creature or Minion of Leshrac deals 5 damage to you. If Minion of Leshrac deals damage to you in this way, tap it. You cannot sacrifice it to itself. Tap it to destroy a creature or a land. This thing is clearly really powerful. I mean, look at, like, the downside is massive. If you don't pay its upkeep, you're going to get brutalized, right? And things aren't going to go well for you. But if you can keep this guy on the board and going, he's incredibly powerful. This definitely feels like a fun demon. The pro-black and art always threw me off, though. He always felt like wonky in that regard. The Minion of Tavish Saw looks so much more like a demon to me, straight up. And by the way, guys, if you didn't know, Tavish Saw was one of the planeswalkers that was with Urza through part of the Brothers' War, through part of that arc. So it's kind of funky, like these minions of these planeswalkers. And this is from a long time ago. Tavish Saw, I believe, may have been one of the planeswalkers who granted some power to Lim-Dûl as well. So 7 mana nets you a 4/4. During your upkeep, you have to pay it 2 black, or it deals 2 damage to you. And its ability is target creature gets +3/-2 until end of turn. And the flavor text says, a minion given over to Tavish Saw is a stronger minion gained. Lim-Dûl and Necromancer. Oh, there you go. Okay. So this actually is specifically showing the point where Tavish Saw has granted power to Lim-Dûl. Right on. We will talk about Lim-Dûl at some point. We have it's a big epic story. So that's going to make a fantastic video. You guys will love it. It'll probably be on the Xantia video level. So The Minion of Tavish Saw is really cool. I love the concept of +3, -2, because this can be used to wipe out creatures that aren't very strong. The demonic just wiping out the weak. I like the idea of transformation, like we're going to make you more powerful, but it also warps and harms you too because of the demonic influence. That's really cool. So these are like old school demon feels to me. Now, I really enjoy the way that in Conspiracy, with Archdemon of Paliano, they played with the concept of a demon coming with a cost, but they did it inside the draft format. Because for those of you who don't know, Conspiracy was a booster set that was designed specifically to be used in a draft format, where everybody picks their cards ahead of time from, basically, just in case you don't know, anybody who's not aware, because there are some people who watch my stuff who aren't really like Magic players, okay? So you would get 3 of these booster packs, right? And then you pick the cards inside these packs and you build a deck out of them. That's how it goes. So this Archdemon actually affects that process. Instead of its negative drawback coming into effect during your games, its negative drawback actually comes into effect during the draft while you're picking the cards, which I think is a lot of fun. So when you draft it, which means when you select it from the pack, you basically put it over to the side face up so everybody knows that you've got it, because there are conditions you have to follow. And as long as it's face up during the draft, you're not allowed to look at booster packs and must draft cards at random. So instead of getting to look at the cards that are handed to you, you have to grab a card at random and hand it off to the next person. And you have to do that 3 times. Once you've done that 3 times, then you turn this back down and you're allowed to draft as normal. So basically, the demon costs you 3 random picks during the draft, which is really cool. It'll make your deck a little less powerful, possibly, most likely. It's an interesting choice that you have to make with this one. And because it's a rare, you're generally going to have to make that choice early on, right? Because the level of this power of this rare, it's not going to wheel around the table. It's not going to make it far around the table before somebody starts to draft it. So I enjoy the difference there. So all of this leads us up to the demon that we're going to talk about today. Does it feel like a demon to me? Because a lot of the demons they make now are all upside. And Doom Whisperer is the card we're going to talk about today. And it is a card that is all upside. However, it does actually hit the proper notes for me to make it feel demonic. I absolutely enjoy the flavor behind this. First of all, let's just take a look at the base mechanics of it. 2 black, 3 colorless for a 6/6 flying trampler. All right, that's significant. Now, what we expect to see next on a demon is the negative. But what we see instead is a bonus ability. Pay 2 life, surveil 2. All right, so that is not what you would expect with a demon. I genuinely enjoy what they've done here. I want to say that this is clearly, like when you compare this to Abyssal Persecutor is 2 black and 2 colorless. So it's only 1 colorless less. It's a 6/6 flying trampler. But it's a card that makes it so that when that demon's out, you can't win the game and your opponents can't lose the game. I really enjoy the concept behind that demon as well. I think that's a fantastic idea. Oh, it's like, here's a bunch of power, but as long as I'm out, I'm going to torment you. You can never achieve your goal, and your opponents will be immortal as long as I'm around. That is a crazy demon. It's that demon that comes out and it's like, all right, we're going to get into like a battle of wits and power. Can you outsmart me to get what you want? I think I can outsmart you. That's that demon's perspective. So for 1 mana less, that used to be a mythic too. They downgraded it to rare, surprisingly enough, in Iconic Masters. So that's no longer considered mythic level. In terms of 5 mana just for a 6/6 flying trampler, that already feels pretty powerful. But the Surveil 2 for 2 life, where you get to look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest on the top of your deck in any order, is very powerful. You can go through a significant amount of your deck. And this is a combo engine. If you want to feed cards into your graveyard or just dig to a particular combo card, this thing is great. Now, there's a lot of creature removal in Magic the Gathering, so that may be part of the reason that they pushed it this hard in terms of the power level, because it feels like this should be a 6 or 7 cost demon in all honesty. But the Surveil ability actually is partially what makes it feel so much like a demon. The way that you pay life and surveil, I should say, instead of the normal kind of torturing like you have with Abyssal Persecutor, where it's a very overt and open kind of demonic torturing where like, you can't win as long as I'm out. This is the Doom Whisperer. And the thing is he's not, the Doom isn't him whispering your doom to you. The doom is that he whispers secrets and power to you, and you want more. And that's demonstrated by the flavor text. The sound of every twisted secret tempts you to hear another. And think about human nature, guys. We're animals, and a lot of us have this perfectionist aspect to us where it doesn't come through in a lot of ways. But think about the number of things you don't want to start until you have the right gear. You'll hear it from people who don't want to start YouTube until I don't have a good camera, I don't have the right recording gear, I don't know how to do X. So all these ducks need to be in a row before I do anything, right? So they're looking for the ideal, perfect launch scenario. Now imagine you're a wizard, right? A planeswalker or whatever, and you summon up this demon, and this demon whispers to you for power, and all you have to do is give him a bit of your life force. This is 10% of your life force. You start at 20 life in this game. So 2 life is 10% of your life force. You're giving up 10% of your life force to this demon. And this demon knows this is the really clever kind of demon. This isn't like the abyssal persecutor, torment you kind of demon. This is the one that comes along and is all upside and you think is just on your side. But it's just whispering to you and giving you this help in exchange for your health because it's trying to leech every last bit of life from you. And in a duel against another planeswalker with massive stakes, or if you're on some plane fighting for survival, in haste, you may just go, oh, you know what? I'm gonna try and get the ideal magic coming up next to take out my opponent kind of scenario and overpay your life. Anytime there's decisions like this to be made, you can make a critical error, right? Basically, every time you pay the life cost here, it's like your opponent connected into your face with a creature for 2 damage every turn, right? They've managed to, every time I should say that happens, they've managed to take 10% of your life. And I mean, obviously that percentage goes higher as your life total decreases. It's still just 2 points, but the percentage of your remaining total overall, it becomes higher. So the concept of a demon that tempts you to your own death through knowledge and the desire for perfection is incredibly flavorful. It's really well done. It feels absolutely demonic. On another note, I love the weird amount of crazy arms that it has and the fact that it's a nightmare demon, right? Like there are no other nightmare demons. There are very few demons that even have extra creature types. So this overall is an absolutely, oh, the demon's coming out. That's the Doom Whisper coming out right there. Overall, this is an absolutely flavorful card. Huge home run to me. And on that note, I think it's time to check in with the 6-color magic.
Hello, Carlsberg here, and I wanted to say, together, we are the 6th color of magic.
Gotta love that 6-color action, baby. The only thing left to do is to roll that scroll. Here come my golden lords, the people who are kind enough to help me out on Patreon. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. It means a lot to me. So my friends, more videos for you. I have a ton of them. Right here, I have some fantastic lore. And over here, I have a hilarious video that just got released yesterday. Take your pick. Either is going to be amazing. And I'm history, baby.